Hi, this is Chandrashekhar Prabhu after a long time, reporting back to you. We always thought that the pandemic is behind us. In fact, our YouTube channel was commenced during the pandemic when there was no access to newspapers, no access to news other than the television, and a lot of things were happening, and we wanted people to keep in touch. Also, the colleges were closed, and those who were doing their master's degree in urban planning and urban design needed someone to talk about the details of what was happening in the pandemic times, and that's how we started this channel. We have uploaded over 100 videos so far, and since the pandemic was receding and people's lives got back to normal, we thought that the media is available, the newspapers are available, the educational institutions had commenced their activity, and we need not have this channel continued with posts which we did so often. However, we have been getting a different kind of a feedback. Innumerable people have been sending us posts on WhatsApp and on YouTube asking us why we have not continued with our dialogue with the people. There were hundreds of issues on which we could have commented, and hundreds of issues on which we could have got the people's opinion and motivated them to do something more for the city and the state in which we are staying. However, we decided against it for a while, but now due to tremendous amount of pressure from friends and those who have subscribed to our channel, I think we must go back and educate people a little more on various issues. Today we are going to discuss the property tax issue. The government has rightly decided that all the premises which are less than 500 square feet carpet area shall be exempted of paying property tax. In fact, this decision was taken earlier, but the property tax comprises of several different taxes put together. The municipal corporation is entitled to the general property tax, which constitutes just 10 to 15% of the total gamut of property tax. So they did away with that. The rest continued to bother the people. So let us understand what this property tax is all about. Why did we find that the property tax is a burden? All these years, why did people not find it to be a burden? The earlier system of calculating the property tax was on the basis of the rateable value. And mind you, rateable value is 1 year's rent of a particular premises, irrespective of whether it is ownership or it's a tenant premises. What is the rent that that premises could have fetched minus 10%. So it roughly comes out to about 11 months rent becomes the rateable value. That means a normal premises of 500 square feet in tenanted buildings has a rent of between 20 and 50 rupees, the basic rent, not the repair cess and other taxes put together. Hence, the rateable value would not exceed in any case between 500 and 1000 square feet. Even the standard rent, if we were to take for new ownership premises, would not exceed 5000 rupees as a rateable value for the year. So it would be, even assuming that it's 300 to 500 rupees per square feet into 11 months, it would be 5500. The rateable value, a percentage of which is calculated as property tax, even if a high percent, as much as 10% of the rateable value would have been taken as property tax, even then the property tax would not be more than 30-40 rupees per month. And hence people never found it difficult to pay a property tax, and hence there was no demand for withdrawing property tax. However, in and around 2010, the government suddenly took a decision, and the municipal corporation too took a decision to convert from the rateable value system of assessment of property tax to the capital value. What does that mean? That means that the ready reckoner value of an area would be calculated, and 0.38% of the ready reckoner value would be calculated as property tax, which means for a 500 square feet area in the island city of Mumbai, the capital value would be calculated on the basis of the ready reckoner prices for sale, which would be between 30,000 and 40,000 in Colaba. It would be about 50,000 in Malabar Hill and some portions of Worli. It would be 40,000 odd in Bandra. It would be about 25 to 30,000 in Andheri, and it would be 15 to 20,000 even in the remotest places of Dahisar or Bhandup or even Mulund would be 25,000 rupees. So a 500 square feet premises in the remotest area would still be worth about 1 crore of rupees or a little less than that. Whereas in prime areas such as Bandra or anywhere within the island city, it would be anywhere between 1.85 crores to 2 crores or even 2.5 in Malabar Hill and such areas, maybe even 4 crores. Now, even if you take 0.38% of 2 crores, then a 500 square feet or anybody occupying up to 500 square feet would have to pay 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 rupees per month as property tax from the 30 or 40 rupees per month that they would be paying today. Now, taking this further, for tenancies it would be still worse, because you pay the rent, you pay the property tax, the tenant, mind you, has to pay the property tax, and then you have to pay the repair cess, which can go up to 200-300% of the rent depending on the number of repairs that the building has undergone. Now, considering all these things, it would have been impossible for the tenant of a 500 square feet premises to pay so much of property tax, and non-payment of rent would be considered to be a major point which can lead to eviction. And hence, we arrived at a situation wherein almost the whole of Mumbai would be vacated because they cannot afford the property tax at capital value. The government realized this and came up with several SOPs. For instance, it gave depreciation for old buildings. It said that if a building is without the lift, then it will pay less. It also said that the balconies would not be charged the property tax at the rate at which the rest of the flat would be charged. It said that if the building is old, then there will be some reduction. It also said that in case there is no lift or in case the height of the building is less, then it would be subjected to lesser tax. However, with all these deductions, still the tax was unaffordable. So the government then decided that yes, increase will be permitted, but at one time only 40% increase and not more than that at a time, which means 8% increase every year till we reach the capital value. So initially from 40 rupees property tax, at 40% it would increase to 60, and from 60 another to 90 and so on. So in the past 10 years the property tax went within the affordable range despite it being increased, and people did not realize. Now suddenly we've reached a stage wherein the exponential growth of property tax, that phase we have come, and suddenly it would have hit the people, especially in an election year, and it would have caused lot of hardships to the people. So the government decided that we will not charge property tax from any premises which is less than 500. About 16 lakh people will be exempted from paying of property tax. However, this raises certain basic issues. The basic issues are, what happens to someone who's holding a 505 square feet area? So someone who's having 500 or less will pay nothing. If you are having 505, then you are still paying 7,000 rupees per square feet. Generally, it was expected that if up to 500 there is exemption, then between 500 and 600 there would be a lesser slab, and between 600 to 700 there would be slabs like the income tax slab. Exemption and full payment is not a solution, has never been a solution in any kind of taxation system. However, the government indulged into that, and now we have faced with a situation wherein within the same building you will have some people not paying the tax and some people paying huge amount of tax, and that would really cause turmoil. Not just that, the discrimination between one flat and the other on the basis of size would be considered illegal, would be considered unconstitutional. A tenant is a tenant, a flat owner is a flat owner. Whether he owns a smaller flat or a larger flat, the infrastructure required for a smaller flat or a larger flat is the same. Why then should a flat of 505 square feet pay more and the one which is less than 500 pay less, is the argument that would be advanced. And in the process of benefiting the people, we may land up having stays from the High Court where the benefit would be negated. Not just that, this would set a very dangerous precedent that if you are differentiating between smaller flats and larger flats, then those living in tenancy apartments larger than 500 square feet, the landlords may say that by the same argument, just exempt them from the purview of the rent act because they are living in a larger premises. All this has brought the tenants of Mumbai and the residents of larger premises in Mumbai to a stage wherein they really do not know what has hit them. And that is why it is important that the government apply itself to this law. Basically, people living in a flat, assuming a family has been living in a 600 square feet flat for 3 generations, Has the infrastructure increased? No. The grandfather purchased the flat and the grandchildren are presently living there. Now they will have to pay 50 times or 100 times the property tax suddenly for no fault of theirs. Just because there is a tall building coming in the neighborhood or a shopping mall coming in the neighborhood, whereas where the selling price of the apartments is very high, and just because of that, if the ready reckoner value is increasing, then without augmenting the infrastructure, what is happening is that one person is paying nothing and the other person is paying too much. Now something needs to be done. This entire concept of rateable value was scrapped because it was getting less revenues to the municipal corporation. But attaching it to the capital value, I do not think is the correct solution. If the increase is required, increase can be given. There could be alternative formulas that can be worked out to specify how the increase could be affordable. Any measure which is unaffordable to a large section of people will never be acceptable and will cause problems. The political aspect in this entire thing is that the corporation elections are round the corner and the government wants to garner a few votes. Nothing wrong with that. Sure enough, get your votes by exempting a section. But the other section, especially those citizens of Mumbai who have lived for generation together, can't suddenly be subjected to a sudden rise of property taxes, and they are the ones who are affected the most, and they are also a sizable number, more than 10 lakh such flats. So I request the government to think in terms of a differential system wherein slab wise you charge, you increase, but the increase has to be directly proportional with the amenities that you give to those areas, so that the people feel happy that they are paying property tax but getting benefits out of it. I think with this, that should be enough for today, and we promise you that we shall be back with more such posts and come to you all the time. Please be free to comment on our YouTube. Bye for now.